Aloha, welcome to Villa Vibes. Hope everyone's been enjoying the theme shows we've been having and the weekend vibes as well. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. You probably have noticed from our Facebook, Instagram posts, we get a lot of records every day. Some we order online, various different sources. We're building this really big library. We've collected records for many years, though we've been really increasing our library, and not for the sake of collecting, but mainly for the purpose of sharing it with all of you. So we're super excited to be getting new records all the time so we can show them all physically when their picture discs are cool to look at, and of course the music is what it's all about. So today we just pulled a little stack from some of the ones that arrived recently. I wanted to showcase various different styles. Obviously doing this live, so I'm just gonna do it off the cuff here. So just see how it goes. The first one I have queued up, I'm just going to kind of spin it around so you can visually see on the side camera here, is a Bobby Darin 7-inch. Those of you who don't really know Bobby Darin, he's a musician from the 50s and 60s. He was really well known for his Frank Sinatra lounge style. However, when he first started his career, he was a rock and roll artist. He actually had a few hits on the rock charts, and he was known as one of the early rock and roll pioneers of his day. And then of course he became known as the lounge lizard, Vegas type later on. So anyway, this is kind of a cool example of his rock and roll brief era as it was, and a cool looking picture disc. So we'll just start off, play some music.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath, long about a Saturday night. Yeah. Rubbed up, just relaxing in the tub, thinking everything was alright. Well, I stepped out the tub, put my feet on the floor, I wrapped the towel around me and I opened the door, and then a splish splash, I jumped back in the bath. Well, how was I to know there was a party going on? There was a splishing and a splash, reeling with the feeling, moving and a grooving, rocking and a rolling. Bing bang, I saw the whole gang dancing on my living room rug. Yeah, flip flop, they was doing the bop. All the teens had the dancing bug. There was a lollipop with a Peggy Sue. Good golly, Miss Molly was even there too. Well, a splish splash, I forgot about the bath. I went and put my dancing shoes on. Yeah, I was a rolling and a strolling, feeling with the feeling, moving and a grooving, splishing and a splashing. Yeah! Yes, I was a splishing and a splashing. I was a rolling and a strolling. Yeah, I was a moving and a grooving. Woo! We was a reeling with the feeling. There was a rolling and a strolling, moving with the groove. Splish, splash, yeah, splishing and a splashing. One time I was splishing and a splashing.
Splish Splash, Bobby Darin on 7-inch picture disc. Pop this off the record player real quick so you can take a look at it. And this is actually what they call a double A-side. What that means is both sides are a hit. Has kind of a random 50s girl on the backside. So the B-side is Dream Lover, which was his other kind of big rock and roll hit. So kind of double A-side picture disc, pretty cool. I've just been trying to pick up a lot of picture discs for the show just so people can get the visual of it. And as I mentioned in the last picture disc show, a lot of people use them as decorations. We like playing them. It's kind of fun to see them on the turntable. So whenever we get these, we don't just save them for a collection. We play them and show them to you guys. The next one up is actually really kind of a personal buy. This one's called 20 Big Boss Favorites. And the reason why I actually bought this one is my parents owned this on 8-track tape when I was a kid. And those are too young to know what an 8-track is. It's a very clunky, funky tape format that was kind of more popular before cassettes took over. later on. And they were terrible. They sounded terrible. They were big and awkward, yet they were kind of real popular for a while. My parents owned this record, and the 8-track, though, my sister, if she's watching this, she's going to laugh, had this very weird, inappropriate picture of a woman's breast with all the song titles on it. So I have no idea why in the 70s they thought that was a good idea to make this 8-track tape. But regardless, that's what we grew up with. The music was fantastic, though, aside from the very inappropriate 8-track label. This, luckily, doesn't have the inappropriate cover. It has just kind of a basic 1960s looking cover. I think this was the original, and then the 8-track was a reissue, and they put that funky cover on. It actually has a lot of really cool stuff on it. Got Chubby Checker, Bobby Rydell, Little Anthony, a lot of early 60s hits. This was around the time of Happy Days, and this was these were reissued a lot because a lot of this 50s and 60s stuff came back. The reason why I'm going to play this today, though, is actually a song that as a kid I absolutely loved. Most of this stuff here is pretty poppy, pretty white, I should say. However, this song is a Latin song. It's actually by a Puerto Rican American named Ray Barretto. And if you know his music, it's really cool. It has that kind of Afro-Cuban kind of sound to it. Anyway, I'm going to play the song. I'll talk a little bit about it when we're finished.
Caballero, ahí acaba de entrar Watusi, ese mulato que mide 7 pies y pesa 169 libras. Y cuando ese mulato llega al solar, todo el mundo dice, a correr, que ahí llegó Watusi, el hombre más guapo de La Habana. Watusi, Watusi, ¿qué quieres? Oye, me dicen que tú eres guapo. A mí, todos me tienen miedo. No me digas que a ti te tienen miedo porque yo sé que me bajo con cualquiera. Más grande que yo no hay ninguno. Vamos a bajarnos. Cuando nos bajamos, Watusi. Nos bebemos la sangre aquí ahora mismo. ¿Qué es lo que pasa? Saca lo que tengo encima, que yo no te tengo miedo a ti. Palo nada más. Todo el mundo te tiene miedo en La Habana, caballero, pero yo... ¿Qué bien tengo yo? A mí no me importa que tú tengas 7 pies. ¿Qué es lo que pasa? ¿Qué es lo que pasa, Watusi? Dime. Conmigo no, porque yo de los guapos me río. Como te me río en la cara, Watusi. A correr. Bien. Nos bajamos, nos bajamos. ¿Qué? Bueno. A correr, caballero. Lleva Watusi. Bueno, por fin, ¿quién es que se va a pagar con Watusi? ¿Quién es que se va a pagar con Watusi? Caballero, nadie te va a pagar con Watusi. ¿Pero por qué le tienen miedo a Watusi?
7 pies, grande y feo, a correr todo el mundo.
No le tenga miedo a Watusi, muchacho.
El que no huye corre.
No, que va. Cuando Watusi llega y dice, yo soy guapo.
Ray Barretto, El Watusi. And one thing you probably noticed is the song was really short. It's actually a much longer song. I think it's about half they put on here. These albums were kind of early versions of what became K-Tel albums later on. This has 20 big boss favorites, whatever that means. It must have been an expression back then. The average album back then had 8 songs, maybe 10 songs if you were lucky. So these started coming out in the 60s and really popular in the 70s and 80s with bands like Ronco and K-Tel. And they would squeeze 20 songs onto an album. And to make it fit, they would first of all make the fidelity really bad. You can tell it doesn't sound really that great. Also, they would edit the songs down. So they just fade them down early. So that actually is a longer song, which is quite cool. So I recommend looking it up. He has great material, like I said, a real kind of Afro-Latin kind of vibe to it. So the next one up is excellent album. Alabama Shakes. Super stoked to have this one arrive. And it's a special edition. You can see on the turntable, it's kind of a multicolor, pink and blue. Just in general, no matter what it was on, this is such an incredible album. I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but Alabama Shakes, this is their first album. Everything is just incredible. It's kind of hard to describe. It's people would think the name would be more folk, more country. It's just awesome. It's bluesy, it's rock, it's kind of a little bit of everything. I'm going to play probably one of the most popular songs on the album, but it's just a rocker, great song called Hold On.
gotta hold on. You gotta hold on.
Wow, that was awesome. First time hearing that on vinyl, honestly. I've heard it many times digital. That was incredible. I don't know if you caught that fuzz at the end. It almost sounded like there was a problem with the needle. It's on the recorded version as well, or the digital version as well, but you don't hear it in the same way. Pretty incredible. There's certain music on vinyl, even brand new stuff, that just sounds so good. This is a good example of it. Cool looking record, and said the whole album is excellent. If you do not know Alabama Shakes, or even if you do and you have the digital copy, definitely encourage you to buy the record. One of our whole things that we have here at Villa Vibes is please buy physical media, because first of all, it's cool. You gotta have the big album cover, inner sleeve, artwork, all the cool stuff that comes with it. Plus also, if you buy new music on vinyl, it really supports the musicians and the artists. They do make a little bit of money when you stream and you download, but it's much better when you buy a record. And so it not only supports a cool hobby, but it's also really awesome for the musicians as well. So the next up is actually from a care package that my cousin Adam sent. He actually works in record distribution, and he turned me on to a bunch of artists. Honestly, some of them I had never heard of before. This is one example. So I just cracked it open last night to take a look at it. It's on cool kind of translucent pink vinyl, which is awesome. And I'm not really familiar with her, but I listened to a few tracks and it's pretty cool. It's called Kelsea. And I believe it's supposed to be country genre, though it's one of those artists that I think kind of bends the genres a bit, because I definitely hear rock and folk and even little pop elements in here as well. But I played kind of a, I'm going to play kind of a cheeky song that she has on side 2 of the album. I think it's called Hole in the Bottle.
There are many people who drink in moderation, with no problems, social, moral, or medical. They have learned to enjoy liquor without letting it upset the functioning of their body and mind. It relaxes you, makes you more congenial.
I just had one
This
sip.
helps make a gathering cheerful and friendly.
It ain't my fault, so don't blame me. I swear I just came here to unwind and have one drink. The way it looks, it ain't what you think. This Cabernet has a way of vanishing on me. There's a hole in the bottle, leaking all this wine. It's already empty, it ain't even supper time. Honey, no, I don't miss it. In fact, it slipped my mind. There's a hole in the bottle of wine. I keep my cool, play by all the rules. I swear 10 minutes ago that bottle was full. I won't cry about love gone wrong, 'cause tears would water down this ruby red I'm sipping on. There's a hole in the bottle, leaking all this wine. It's already empty, it ain't even supper time. Honey, no, I don't miss it. In fact, it slipped my mind. There's a hole in the bottle of wine. Oh, yeah. I went and got a new one, 'cause the other one was broken. Now this one's halfway gone, and it's barely even open. There's a hole in the bottle, leaking all this wine. It's already empty, and it ain't even supper time. Honey, no, I don't miss it. In fact, it slipped my mind. There's a hole in the bottle of wine. You may ask me where it's going, but I can't even find the hole in the bottle of wine.
She has abused her system, and she's paying for it.
That's a cool song. A Hole in the Bottle by Kelsea. Like I said, you know, technically country, but it has a lot of other elements in it. Even people who don't like country, I bet would kind of dig that one. And of course, it's going to make us all laugh, because I think during COVID, a lot of us are turning to adult beverages. I'm normally a teetotaler, but I've been known to have a drink or two these days. Totally understandable. So the next song up is actually from, let me grab this cover real quick, is from an artist named Carolyn Rose. Album is called Superstar. I want to make a mention, this is actually from Vinyl Me Please. That's a subscription service online. They don't advertise with us. This is completely because I love them. And we pay them money like anyone else. We get 3 records a month. It's a subscription service. if you're building your library, or if you're kind of rebuilding your library, or just want to get more records in general, definitely sign up with them. Their prices are awesome. It's basically the price of a retail record, but you get lots of extras. A lot of their stuff is just only available through them. So you get color vinyl like this pink one here. You get extra, usually like inserts that aren't in other stuff. You get little bio tag that's on either one. Sometimes you get little artwork pieces and whatnot. So it's definitely worth it. And the cool thing about it is you don't have to search for vinyl. They just send you anywhere from 1 to 3 a month. And this is the series that I'm excited about because they have classics, hip hop. This is basically what they deem as an awesome album. And sometimes it's stuff I know, and sometimes it's something I've never heard before. This is an example of an artist I'd heard about, didn't really know the song, didn't really know the album. So I'm gonna let it roll. Here we go.
Suddenly I heard the phone ring. I knew it was my destiny, calling me from the Chateau Marmont lobby. I feel as though I need a change. I said, you left and lit a cigarette, and casually said, wow. Nothing's impossible.
Close my eyes, and there, beyond the horizon, I stand beneath the bright lights, and above me, written in the stars, reads
the future.
No one is gonna stand in my way, even if I have to leave this old city in flames. I'd rather be a hustler on an 8-ball pocket than a tattered tarot card in your fake old life. And no, funny how things unfold, 'cause a really long time ago, I had my fortune made. Would you believe what it said?
And that's how the song ends. I know it sounds like it hit, hit something on the turntable. That's Carolyn Rose, Nothing's Impossible. Cool song. And when I researched this a little bit, she actually recorded and produced most of it herself in her house, in her bedroom. So that's actually pretty cool. And the production, I have to say that regardless of what you think of the genre, the production is amazing. I mean, just the sound quality, the crispness of the sounds, the sensibilities, the effects on the voice, all of it's pretty excellent. So definitely worth checking out. Again, the album's called Superstar, and next one is going to be called Bittersweet. Is the band. This is actually a band that we've been listening around the house for quite a few years. It's kind of the EDM chill kind of style. There's not much of a visual on this. It's just a 12-inch single. A lot of the artists that we listened to throughout the 90s and 2000s, unfortunately, cannot get them on record, or it's almost impossible to get them. You have to get them from Europe, or you can only get one single, like in this case. And the main reason is, of course, in the 90s and 2000s, no one was buying records. And in the US especially, no one was pressing records. So it was literally impossible to get your favorite albums on vinyl. And some of the really, really popular mainstream ones have been released on vinyl more recently. But the more fringe artists like this is not that well known of an artist. But it should be. Bittersweet is the name of the artist. Look it up. This is a song called Dirty Laundry, and let's let it roll. Laundry by Bittersweet. That's kind of a little bit of a different remix than we're used to. Like I said, it's really difficult to find the original albums on a lot of these 90s, 2000s. This is early 2000s. But anyway, definitely worth looking up. They have a remix album which actually is quite excellent as well. It has a lot of these kind of versions on it. However, the original album is definitely worth checking out. So the next up is everyone's kind of guilty pleasure, Abba. It's kind of hard to find someone who doesn't like Abba. It's kind of like finding someone who doesn't like puppies. Even people like Kurt Cobain just loved Abba. It's one of those bands, you know, whatever you think of, you can't help but kind of enjoy it, even if you don't admit it to everybody. This is an edition on gold vinyl. It's basically a greatest hits that has pretty much all the songs you recognize, but it's super cool on gold vinyl. So this is going to be one of my favorite songs by Abba here. Gimme, 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 A Man After Midnight, Abba. I almost faded that one early, and then it got to that groovy bass line. I'm like, oh my god, this is so good. And that's what I would definitely encourage you to do. If you only know Dancing Queen or Fernando or like the real bubblegum pop songs, definitely dive a little deeper into the ABBA catalog. The greatest hits is a good way to start, though they have a ton of albums. And they're actually quite great. I mean, the production is wonderful. The instrumentation is great, as you can hear by that bass line. There's some great stuff going on there. So I definitely encourage you to go beyond Dancing Queen if you can. So this next one is actually a used record. We do buy used as well. I like to support the artists and try to buy as much new music as possible. But of course, there's a lot of stuff that's just not available yet. Hopefully that will change as people are getting more and more into vinyl, like all of you guys. This one is, I'm going to play just because it's so bizarre. It's a famous song called Frankenstein by Edgar Winter. And he made this really popular in the early 70s. It was a very early kind of, people call it prog, progressive. It's very early use of electronics, keyboard sounds, synthesizers, all real manual analog stuff. However, he actually made an 80s version. I wasn't even aware of this. I'm super interested to share this with you. It is basically an 80s, very 80s sounding remake of this song. And it's not done by another artist. It's actually done by Edgar Winter himself. So that's what makes it super cool. So check it out. I will fade this one down. It doesn't have quite the grooviness of the ABBA song. However, I just had to play it. It has that real kind of Axel F 80s movie soundtrack kind of sound to it. And again, I think it's super cool because Edgar Winter actually produced it himself, which is cool. And if you don't know Edgar Winter, he's actually one of two brothers with this shocking white hair. Their albums are excellent. There's a song called Free Ride by Edgar Winter, which is the epic 70s rock song. So definitely an artist worth checking out. Both of them, actually. Johnny Winter's his brother. And they even have an album together, which is also equally cool. So the next song up is actually off of 45. Somehow we ended up with a lot of color vinyl by the luck of the draw. This one is by an artist named Clairy Browne and the Bangin Rackettes. And she's an Australian artist and very retro, very kind of 50s, even a little rockabilly sound. You know, some of these artists I love because you can't really pin them down what style they are, which makes it even cooler and more attractive to play. A lot of the stuff you hear on these shows, we try to squeeze in the genres, but they're a little bit genre bending. So guys, you're gonna dig this one.
I get a love letter. I'm gonna write what I want you to do to me in a letter. Yeah. I'm gonna write it for good, or for bad, or for worse, or for better. Yeah, love letter. I'm gonna write it for you so that you can be my lover. Be my lover. Oh, when it is yours, I am yours, baby, now and forever. Yeah, love letter. Oh, be my letter. Won't you help me get out? Be my lover. Love letter. Oh, won't you help me get out of my head? My roommate's a light years on, but you can't forget her. Yeah, love. 'Cause tonight is the time that we know each other better. Yeah, love letter. I'm gonna write what I want you to do to me in a letter. Be my lover. I'm gonna fall through the sky until I find a feather. Yeah, love letter. Oh, be my letter. Won't you help me get out? Be my lover. Love letter. Oh, won't you help me get out of my head? I'm gonna write you a letter. Oh, baby. For good or for bad or for better. Please believe me, darling. Darling, I'm yours once you're ready. I'm yours. Never, ever forget it. Oh, I'm gonna write you a letter. For good or for bad or for better. When it is yours, I'm yours, baby, now and forever. Oh, be my letter. Won't you help me get out? Be my lover. Love letter. Oh, won't you help me get out of my head? Darling, I'm yours once you're ready. Live on forever, forget it. For good or for bad or for better. I'm gonna write you a love letter.
Clairy Browne, Love Letter. Oh man, that girl can sing. So anything I've heard by Clairy Browne is amazing. Again, Australian artist, kind of undefinable, but totally worth looking up. And she is actually starting to release some of her stuff on vinyl, as witnessed by this 45, which is really cool. There are some artists who came up in the 2000s who are kind of recognizing the vinyl boom and starting to release stuff. This is a good example. And the next up is another one from my cousin, Queens of the Stone Age. So this is a band from the 90s. They're based out of Palm Desert, of all places. They call it desert rock in Southern California. A few epic albums. This one is a reissue. Remember I mentioned how a lot of the stuff in the 90s and 2000s were never on vinyl. They were only on CD and then of course download and then streaming later on. However, this is a cool reissue they put out on 3 10-inch records. So these aren't singles and these aren't LPs. These are what we call EPs. EP was a format on 10-inch record that was only really popular for a short period of time in the 50s and 60s, a little bit in the 70s, but not really. People pretty much gravitated to the LP. What they did is they combined 3 10-inch EPs to make the full Era Vulgaris album, which you can buy the full album, like I said, on CD or download. But this is very cool because they put it in this cool format. The graphics are amazing, and it sounds pretty decent too. So let's check this album track out.
Time anywhere. Sometimes the same is different, but mostly it's the same. These mysteries of life, that just ain't my thing. Told you that I knew about the sun and the moon, that'd be untrue. The only thing I know for sure is what I won't do. Anytime, anywhere, unless I agree. Again and again. Anytime, anywhere.
Make It With You, Queens of the Stone Age from Era Vulgaris, the vinyl triple 10-inch EP version. Highly recommend it. It's very cool. Thanks again, Cuz, for hooking me up. And speaking of which, another one that came in the box, I think he almost sent this as a joke, but it's actually quite excellent. I'm not going to play it because it's not really a good fit for the show right now. It's called Baby Metal. And this is a metal band from Japan. And I literally thought it was going to be comedic. It's like, is it going to be little babies? Is it going to just sound like really bad hair band music? I wasn't sure. The production's great. The instruments are great. The vocals are actually kind of cool. So, hey, look it up. Check it out. Baby Metal. Would have never thought, but it's actually pretty cool. And then last but not least, I'm going to end the show today with kind of a little mishap that turned into be something cool. I ordered a song that I've been looking for on vinyl. Again, really hard to find because it's in the 90s when they weren't pressing vinyl. It's called Heads High by Mr. Vegas. Totally epic reggae song. Has some dance hall feel to it. And so I ordered it. I found it online. Ordered it. And when I got it, I had this record arrive with no writing on it. If you can see, I actually wrote in Sharpie what side A is. I had it right on the sleeve. It didn't even come with a hard sleeve. It just came with like a paper thing. This is how it came in the mail. And no identification of what it was. And until I played it, I had no clue. And then when I played it, it's actually not the regular version. It's a jungle remix. Those of you who are, again, a little bit younger, jungle was kind of EDM format in the 90s that was, you hear it a little bit of influences of modern EDM, but it's a little bit faster and a little bit more. A little bit of problem solving on the fly here. I think my lav microphone ran out of batteries, so don't try this at home. Again, the beauty of being live here. So at least it's at the end of the show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're gonna do some more of these as more vinyl arrives tonight at 5 o'clock Hawaii time. We're going to be doing our normal weekend vibes. Friday night, get you into the weekend. We're going to do a little bit different this week, though. Last week, we featured disco. We always throw in some house music. This week, it's all about the 80s. We're going to be playing new wave 80s, a little bit of rock in there, too. But it's going to be all kind of 80s dance vibes. So tune in again tonight, Weekend Vibes, 5 p.m. Hawaii time. And we're going to kick off the show, or finish off the show, with the jungle version of Heads High.
I hear you scream, your mouth clean. No man never rub your heat, no ice cream. You don't smell green like Charlene. You will appreciate have a healthy hygiene. From assuming while you keep blooming like a pretty little lily in the morning. You're not crawling, pressure them darling. When you're rising, them keep falling. So sing a Bedside, kill them with you know. Just make a boy know you're not blow. Bedside, kill them with you know. No boy ain't got no secret for your woe. Bedside, kill them with you know. Just make a boy know you're not blow. Bedside, kill them with you know. Tell them that you got the soul.